It's difficult to mix horror and multiplayer, and more often than not, the problem has less to do with how things look or how players interact with the world than it does the fact that it's multiplayer, and having someone with you is not conducive to spooky stuff. Take Left 4 Dead. You play that game on your own or with AI, and running through some of the levels can be pretty damn terrifying. But as soon as you jump into a game with 3 friends all in voice chat, it becomes more of a party, right? Yeah, shit's still gonna scare you sometimes, but it's not an atmospheric thing as much as it is jump scares, low health, and that tank that just came around the corner. Multiplayer tends to ruin horror because horror, or at least how a lot of games design around it, relies on you being alone and feeling powerless. When you're suddenly grouped up with a bunch of buddies or strangers and yelling over mic about where the killer is or whatever unrelated stuff, the tension is diffused. You still have that little inkling of worry that you're gonna get got, but it's not the same kind of fear that the games really seem to want you to feel, you know? It's not that visceral, real terror. Games like Dead by Daylight, Fear 3, the co-op one, and that Friday the 13th game are all scary in their own right. Yeah, but it's more in spite of their multiplayer facets. The multiplayer and horror don't work together in any especially interesting ways, they're just kind of there existing in the same space together. They're not really horror games, so much as they're horror-themed games. But now we've got Crytek's own Hunt Showdown, a multiplayer shooter with equipment and progression mechanics where up to 12 players in teams of 1 to 3 are all dropped into a big open map and told to find clues, kill a boss, and escape, all while avoiding various types of AI baddies and human-controlled competing players who can and will dome your ass from 30 yards away. And it is, without a doubt, the best multiplayer horror game I have ever played. So, okay, scene set in time. You're a hunter in the swamps of Louisiana in 1895 after some plague broke out, or some demons or whatever, it's not entirely clear. Point is, you are here to track down a big bad spooky monster, kill it dead, grab its bounty, and get out alive. People are competing with you for that prize, and they are not at all gonna hesitate to shoot you in the face. It's a PvEVP shooter where making noise is a bad idea, brighting light is a bad idea, engaging other players as soon as you see them is also a pretty bad idea, shooting your gun, sometimes pretty bad idea, and you know what, now that I think about it, being seen in general is a bad idea, so don't do it. Now, Hunt isn't a battle royale game, but I want you to think about how PUBG and the like handle their sound design. Most of the time, it's dead air, right? You'll hear gunshots or explosions or whatever, but their purpose is entirely mechanical. You hear the pop-pop in the distance or the rumble of an enemy vehicle's engine, and you get a general idea of the direction it came from, maybe how far they are, but outside of that, there are virtually no sounds that add to the atmosphere or ambience, and that's lame. But Hunt? Oh, it is built around sound, and sound is the biggest factor in how fantastic its horror is. Yeah, the gunshots kick ass, but the real kickers are all the other sounds that Hunt has on offer. The natural sounds of this late 1800s Louisiana bayou build a backing track that complements the visuals, working together to make something wholly absorbing. You've got the chirping of insects, thunder cracking in the distance, the calls of crows and ducks on one hand, and on the other, you've got the various infected and marked monsters in each game filling what little dead air there is with their pained, inhuman chittering and groaning. It doesn't just let you know what's around and kinda where it is, but it sets your hair on end. Then, there are the noises the other hunters make. Footsteps, sound traps, reloading, wading through water, all of it works so closely with the visual aspects of atmosphere to create this horrifyingly fantastic sense of believable space that sits there with open arms and says, "Hey friend, I'm gonna scare the shit out of you, okay?" And thanks to the way Hunt is balanced, players are always a threat, maybe right up there with the bosses that you're after. And their presence, even just the potential of it, because you can load into a match entirely alone, is put to use in a way that it's not in other multiplayer horror titles. The knowledge that another hunter is nearby, one that won't hesitate to turn you into food for the bayou's infected beasts, is scary, plain and simple. And of course, the cream of the crop, the bosses. These are the big bad monsters that you are here to kill, and they are terrifying. Each boss takes up residence in a randomly selected area on the map, typically one of the bigger abandoned farmhouses, and they make it their own by littering it with their own personal effects. Meat, bugs, or webs are gonna fill every corner and make it clear which of the bastards you've found, and let me assure you, you are in for a hell of a fight. It's not just tough, it's scary. These are honestly the most outright fucking scary things in this game. Everything about sound design, environment design, and this game's mechanics coalesce into something remarkable, and I wish I could bottle the feeling of fighting one of these and just sell it for people who just want to feel alive, man. Just look at this clip of me fighting the spider, my favorite boss. Unlike other horror games that have tried to make multiplayer work by kind of shoving horror and multiplayer together, Hunt actually uses multiplayer to its advantage when establishing itself as a horror game. Players are so deadly to each other that they work as a source of tension and fear even when they're not actually present. If this were a game centered around non-stop action and adrenaline, they'd work solely as exciting firefights. But Hunt is built around being scary and weighty. The risk of losing your character is real, especially at the hands of another player, and all the atmospheric design amplifies it. At a cursory glance, it'd be real easy to say that Hunt Showdown is a fantastic horror game in spite of the fact that it's multiplayer. When in reality, it's not just a wonderful horror game, it's also a tasty multiplayer experience, and it's something made greater by how it combines the two core aspects in ways that give weight to each other, amplifying their strengths and creating something super rad. Hey, thanks for watching. I'd like to give a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters that help keep this boat afloat. Thank you to David Snotter, Mark B. Writing, Puking Goombas, Steve Z, and Storm Hughes. It's your support that helps keep this, I just said it, keep this boat afloat. Here we go. If you would like to support Indie Bytes and everything that we do, head on over to patreon.com/indiebytesyt and see how you can. That's all I got for now. I will see you next time. Bye!